Officials are working diligently to make this year's edition of the Sinkers Music Festival a 40-20 friendly one that is allowing the smoking of cannabis and other substances in a designated area of the festival compound. The festival comes under the Ministry of Tourism, which wants to use the 40-20 attribute in promoting the festival. But before that can occur, legislators must first pass the bill in the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis. Minister Marshall Henderson talks about the 40-20 Friendly Music Festival at the first of several planned press conferences for the music festival.
We will have a bill, an act, once it's passed, designated for certain public places as smoking areas, for which the Warner Park Stadium on the Mound will be what we call the Smokers Lounge. Of course, this is an introduction. It's a groundbreaking initiative with a unique and exclusive space to enjoy smoking of cigarettes, cigar, vapes, and of course, cannabis. For us, we are breaking barriers and setting new standards in the live music industry. Preparing, of course, in the Ministry of Tourism, as the music festival is a part of the overall tourism product, as we prepare to emerge for the market of cannabis tourism, which has the potential to stimulate the local economy and create a niche in the tourism industry. We see this as a pilot project. Of course, the first major music festival in the OECS is our music festival here in St. Kitts, and we are happy to embrace a cannabis-friendly festival environment.
According to the minister, enabling 40-20 is part of ensuring the constitutional rights of citizens. But when asked about the constitutional rights of nearby residents not wanting to be affected by the 40-20 activities, she expressed the view that they would not be affected.
As it relates to the balancing of constitutional rights and the safety of our citizens, the harsh reality is that people come to the music festival and they smoke nonetheless. This is not the first time that persons are going to be puffing, as you say. The ACP will tell you they can stay from their command post and see where the smoke is coming from. So the reality is that we have persons who come to the festival and smoke in the crowd. I think that is what causes the issues. However, the strategic positioning of the lounge will allow the smoke to go into a direction, because it's on the northern side of the mound, and at the back of the football field, it's unoccupied, it's not in use. The food court is actually on the other side. And I think it was the ACP who told me that that is enough distance. We walked the venue and it just goes into the air. It doesn't travel like the Canadian smoke that came down to New York from the wildfires. It just disappears, whether it's cigarettes, vape, or cannabis. It just goes a certain distance, and we're utilizing that end of the venue so that the smoke travels on the back of the football field, which is not occupied. The houses are actually over on Nevis Street and Victoria Road, which is further down. I don't ever think that house is occupied, but the residents of Nevis Street are a distance away from the lounge. So the persons likely to be affected, if at all, would be if we have patrons smoking within the crowd.
The 2023 St. Kitts Music Festival is scheduled to begin on Thursday, 22nd June at the Warner Park Sports Complex in Bastille. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force is investigating a shooting incident that left Terito Brown of Rollins Village, Gingerland, Nevis, nursing a gunshot wound to the arm. The incident occurred on June 18th between 10:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. According to police, Mr. Brown reported that upon arriving at his home, he was accosted by masked and armed assailants who attempted to shoot him. Owing to the apparent malfunctioning of an assailant's weapon, Mr. Brown was able to escape with his life. He sustained a wound to his left arm while running after the assailants fired a number of shots in his direction. He is currently receiving the necessary medical attention at the Alexandra Hospital. According to police, the crime scene unit processed the scene of the incident and collected items of evidential value. Meanwhile, in another police report, the police are investigating the armed robbery of David's Lee Supermarket in Caen, St. Kitts. The criminal act was committed on June 17th between the hours of 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., according to police report. Preliminary reports indicate that 2 armed and masked assailants held the store's owner and security guard at gunpoint and forced their way inside the closed store. Once inside, they stole a sum of money from the cash register along with other items before making their getaway. The crime scene unit processed the scene and collected all items of evidential value. An investigation into the incident is underway. Police are asking anyone with information that could assist in the apprehension of these and other perpetrators of criminal acts to contact the nearest police station. Consistent collaboration curbs crime, the police said. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romain Virgo, TJ, Valiant.
Them boy don't got no vibes.
Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
The People's Labour Party convention on the weekend in Tabernacle focused on the work of the party in the now defunct Team Unity Coalition and what party leader Dr. Timothy Harris deems the failure of the current St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party administration. Addressing party faithfuls and representatives, Dr. Harris pointed to the cost of living and crime in the country as failings of the current administration, while also accusing the government of victimization.
My mind is on the people of this country. Thank you, Agatha. She is with me forever. Thank you. But you know, we really would have wanted that our country would have some peace. That the incoming government would have shown some good sense. But Lardo, this government now behave good at all. And you can't even complain to them. Not only the figure that they are high and mighty, that they are an expert at doing nothing but getting high pay, that every time you call, can I have a word with Dr. Duke? Can I have a word with Dr. Samuel? He's not here, he gone. When you call, Labour people can't believe what Joe has done to this country. Labour people and all have gotten annoyed at the behavior of a government they put in less than 1 year. I have never in my 30 years of involvement in parliamentary politics seen a government become so unpopular in so short a period of time. They can't go for 5 years.
Dr. Harris bemoaned the fall of Team Unity and blamed his former coalition partners for its demise.
What manner of man could have turned for the best that was being given to his island? What manner of man could turn from the best? And now we get not 1 cent more. Mash up a government that was working for his island. Out of greed, out a lust for power. You understand what happened? Sometimes all the good you're doing for people, one day the devil could get in their head and they take action for which others are suffering. The mess that the country is now in is as a result of the selfishness, the rush for some people to take control of the prime ministership of the country and to take control of the Ministry of Finance.
The People's Labour Party elected a new executive prior to the convention on Saturday, which is headed by chairperson and former Senator Wendy Phipps. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
A brief ceremony raising the OECS and the St. Kitts and Nevis flags in Frigate Bay marked the 50th anniversary of the founding of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, with the signing of the Treaty of Bastia, just ahead of the opening ceremony for the 73rd meeting of the OECS Authority. The opening ceremony that took place in the Sir Cecil Jacobs Auditorium at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank also marked the start of the chairmanship of the authority by St. Kitts and Nevis' Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew. Filled with the appropriate entertainment, Prime Minister Drew paid tribute to the founding fathers of the OECS, recognizing the country's first Prime Minister who was a signatory to the original Treaty of Bastia. He paid tribute also to the country's second Prime Minister who signed the revised Treaty of Bastia.
Allow me to recognize our national hero, our only living national hero, Sir Kennedy Simmons, who, as was said earlier, was a founding member of the OECS. I know you have stood already, but as the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, I want you to stand again and take a vow. Thank you very, very much, and I do recognize as well your wife, Mary. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize one who continues to serve in government, but would have been instrumental in the revised Treaty of Bastia of 2010. When he was the Prime Minister, today he served as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, a senior minister, and I'm once again asking that your Prime Minister is calling on you to stand and take a vow for your contribution for the continuation of your OECS. The Honorable Dr. Denzel Llewellyn Douglas.
Several activities involving students and communities were part of the program of activities marking the 50th anniversary of the OECS throughout the sub-region. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Music's finest artists converge in Bastia from June 22nd to June 24th for the 25th hosting of the St. Kitts Music Festival. Hitting the festival main stage will be Skillibeng, Chronix, Coffee, Byron Messiah, Anthony B, Governor, Romaine Virgo, TJ, Valiant.
Them boy don't got no vibes.
Grand Masters, Collision Band, Small X Band, New Vibes Band International, Mr. Bagdal, Akayu Sweet, Preedy, Guess the Band, Ricardo Drew, Patrice Roberts, Skinny Fabulous, Nyla Blackman, Status. Erica Edwards, 313 Family, Gramps Morgan, Nitra B, Ear Supply, Dexter Daps, and Burner Boy. It's the 25th edition of the St. Kitts Music Festival from June 22nd to June 24th at Warner Park. An experience like no other. Tickets are now available at stkittsmusicfestival.com.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Nevis. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
They're from different corners of the globe, but there's a common adversary that draws them together. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi arrived in Havana, Cuba on Thursday after wrapping up visits to Venezuela and Nicaragua. All four countries share a strong hostility towards the United States, which has long-running sanctions against them. Former U.S. President George Bush, in fact, once labeled Iran and Cuba as members of the, quote, axis of evil. Raisi and his Cuban counterpart, Miguel Díaz-Canel, held private talks before their ministers signed a number of cooperation agreements. Cuba assisted Iran during the pandemic by supplying vaccines. Now Cuba is suffering from an acute shortage of fuel, which Iran may help ease.
We are grateful for your successful tour of Latin America, including Cuba.
Raisi's first Latin American visit since taking office nearly 2 years ago aimed to underscore the need for countries that do not fall under the U.S. sphere of influence or friendship to stick together. They say it will lead to further integration and the building of a multipolar world. The Iranian leader attended a business forum and promised to work with Cuba in hydroelectric power generation and mining.
I have on my agenda the commitment I made to the President. I wanted to greet you and confirm that the Islamic Republic of Iran is determined to work with friendly countries such as Cuba in science and technology, and for the importance it has in our foreign policy.
The U.S. State Department has been watching the visit closely, calling it, quote, destabilizing behavior. But while Iran may be very far away from Latin America, its choice of regional allies shows that sharing a powerful common adversary is a strong incentive for sticking together. Lucia Newman, Al Jazeera.
A staggering total of 18 fires have affected markets across the island in the past year, forcing the government to foot a bill in excess of $150 million for damages. Minister of Local Government and Community Development